G'day everyone, Uncle Jojo. Great to see you all again and warm jika to another rip-roaring episode. Today, we've driven out to see Ian Crick from Pyrenees Timber. G'day Ian.
G'day mate, how you going?
Thank you very much for having us. We're talking to Ian just about forestry and collecting timber for the timber industry in Australia. So Ian, talk me through what type of timbers we have here and how you got into it and where you produce, how you produce it and where you distribute it to.
Yeah, righto. Look, most of our timber comes locally, so we've been cutting timber in the Mount Cole area now for probably a good 50, 60 years.
Yeah, right.
Grandfather started here in the 1950s. Mount Cole's always been a good source of messmate.
Mount Cole, is that a state forest?
Mount Cole is a state forest at the moment.
So how do you log that? Do you collect timber?
Contractors, so we send the contractors out into the forest, and they'll go into the areas that Vic Forests have marked.
Right.
So Vic Forests will go through and do all their assessments first.
Yep.
And they'll identify areas ready to be harvested.
Right.
When they do all that work, we can then go in and send the contractors in, and they can extract the wood for us.
Now, there's a few different products that you create. I've seen some flooring, I've seen some decking, and I've seen some structural timbers, like very impressive structural timbers, nice and dense timber, fairly heavy. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Look, messmate's probably good all-round timber, so it's got some very good values, and obviously we try and I suppose select the best logs to fit the best category, I guess, and value add where we can. So our better logs end up in flooring and decking.
How do we go about using the byproducts? Because you were talking to me before about there's very little waste. Although I can see a few bits and pieces, nothing really gets wasted.
Yeah.
I think it's ingenious what you've done. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, obviously through the sawmilling process, once we've broken the log down and cut as much timber as possible out of that. There's always bits and pieces left over that aren't merchantable. So they go through the wood chipper and become a wood chip. So what we do with that, we also value add that wood chip as well now. So what we're doing with that wood chip is we're actually drying the wood chip, we're grading the wood chip, and we're actually using it as a biofuel.
Wow!
So we're using that wood chip to run our kiln, so we're drying using that as a heat source to dry our timber. Yep. And we're also are shipping a proportion of that off to the Beaufort Hospital. So we're actually heating the Beaufort Hospital with a biofuel now.
So we've got a lot of guys in here working away. Can they see longevity in this timber market out this way?
Look, yeah, that's a great question. From a market perspective, I think people want timber, and they certainly want hardwood. They want local hardwood, and they want hardwood that's got some element of local input from the local people. So that's there. Again, the unfortunate thing, or the biggest drama in this industry, is we need support from the government. Because obviously our product comes from the public land, from a state forest. So we need support from the government to help us through. But that's probably the big problem we've got at the moment. That they probably. They're sitting on the fence a little bit. We've got an industry that wants to go. We've got markets out there ready to go. But we've got a government saying, I'm not sure, what we're going to do with the future of this industry, and that's really slowing us down. Out here, there's not huge job opportunities. So I think we've got a beautiful resource here in the forest. We've got people that want our product. We've got people that are willing to work. We just need that support from the government to make all this work.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully.
Sounds so simple.
It sounds so simple, but it's an industry that it's been going now for well over 100 years. People say we're destroying the forest. Well, yes, go and have a look in the forest. For 100 years of the timber industry, I think the forests are probably as in good condition now as ever been. There is a recommendation from VAC at the moment that's probably going to lock up another 80,000 hectares into a national park, regional park, forest reserves, this sort of stuff. These areas don't get managed. VAC are recommending that Mount Cole stay as a state forest, and look, I'll support that fully. But I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on Mount Cole. You've only got about 5,000 or 6,000 hectares of Mount Cole. It's not a big area. So it's going to put a lot of pressure on Mount Cole. There's going to be a lot of people want to use Mount Cole.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I think we've we probably need to have a look as, you know, do we need this 80-odd thousand that they're proposing as a national park to stay there? Or, you know, maybe some of that should stay as a state forest.
Especially now that the population in Victoria is actually growing the fastest state for population growth.
It is, and the urban swell is happening.
Yeah.
You know, there's people, even though, you know, we're 2 hours from Melbourne here, and we probably, you know, if you go back to 15 or 20 years, we didn't see these people from Melbourne. We're seeing them every Sunday, every weekend now. People are just coming out of the Melbourne, coming out and moving into our, you know, want to have a bit of a peaceful recreation in our communities.
Yeah, good one.
Phone rings.